Hi guys! Welcome to my YouTube channel. So, I am John Salakre from BScream 1 Block 18 and I am here to tackle about our topic for today's video. So, let's start! So, good day everyone, and our topic for today is Lesson 5. Who am I in Cyberworld? Digital Self. First we are going to tackle is what is Cyberworld? The cyberworld or cyberspace is more than just the internet. It refers to an online environment where many participants are involved in social interactions and have the ability to affect and influence each other. People interact in cyberspace through the use of digital media. When people are online, most of them engage in activities that leave a digital footprint. A digital footprint refers to all information found online about a person. It is either posted by the person or others intentionally or unintentionally. This information leaves a permanent mark as it can be easily retrieved, and passed by others. The digital footprint can be used by potential employers and universities looking for information on their potential employees and students. The following infographic shows the characteristic of cyberspace and its impact. So, the contents or the topics we are going to tackle for today's video is, first, we have define online identity. Second is compare real identity versus online identity. And the third one describes the influence of internet on sexuality and gender. And lastly, discuss the proper way of demonstrating our values and attitude. So let's start about define online identity. So first, what is internet identity or IID? Also known as online identity or internet persona, is a social identity established by an internet user in online groups and website. It could also be a deliberately crafted image of oneself. That means that an internet identity can even be comprised of things like login credentials, online transactions, online search activities, medical history, date of birth, and browsing history. An online identity can be anything from social media profile or a forum account to a video game character or even a shopping cart. Basically, it can either be a social identity associated with an online community or just a simple account or data that associated with online services. There are 5 examples of online identity. First example is open. Second is avoidance. Third is audience. Fourth is content. And fifth is compartmentalization. So first example we're gonna tackle is open identity. The open identity means that one will share authentic and genuine thoughts of the world. There is not a specific platforms one will use. Rather, their identity will be shared throughout all platforms. The second is avoidance identity. Involves the restraint of all online activities on social media platform. Through this, people believe that they cannot be reached, which is true. However, the downside involves not reaping the benefits from social media and online news. Third is audience identity. Audience identity is the most common identity used throughout the internet. One will use different social media platforms from different purposes. For example, one will use Facebook to update about family news, upload photos, and provide status. LinkedIn will be used to authorize one professional career, where he or she works, and what kind of professional experience or education they have. And the content identity considers carefully the crafted content directed towards all social media platforms. One will have to be careful about what they post, becoming not as genuine as they could or should be. If one breaks the character they establish, unintended consequences could come to fruition from the public viewpoint. And lastly is the compartmentalization identity. The compartmentalization identity uses two or more different identities or on different social media platforms. For example, a John Doe will be set up on Facebook, a Grant Collins will be on LinkedIn, and Jack Smith will set up on Reddit. In this way, anonymity is established throughout different types of platforms. So, our next topic is number 2. Compare real identity versus online identity. So, an online identity is defined as an identity that a person established in an online environment, such as social networks. An offline identity is defined as identity that a person established in an offline environment, such as in real life. Your online identity is not the same as your real-world identity because the characteristic you represent online differ from the characteristic you represent in the physical world. So the difference between a life online and a life offline. What does this shift mean for human social life? We identify for 4 structural differences between online versus offline. Interaction. 1. Fewer nonverbal cues. 2. Greater anonymity. 3. More opportunity to form new social ties and bolster weak ties. And 4. Wider dissemination of information. So, we are here in number 3. So, number 3 is describe the influence of internet on sexuality and gender. So, computer-mediated communication is centered on the internet. It is a global network that connects millions of computer networks, allowing adolescents to access an incredible amount of information. Because its fluid capabilities, the internet has more up-to-date information than books. Despite significant differences in use between countries and socioeconomic classes, young people all throughout the world are rapidly accessing the internet. The amount to which young people have access to resources that encourage their development is a major cause of concern for their health. This is tied to early worries about how children and teenagers use the internet, which has been linked to negative consequences. Teenagers' exposure to inappropriate content is another source of concern. Pornography, in its different forms, whose proliferation and mainstreaming has apparently influenced young culture and adolescents' development in unprecedented and diverse ways. In one key growing worry facet and cyberspace, furthermore, internet-enabled devices have indiscriminately allowed people of all ages to encounter, consume, create, and disseminate sexually explicit content, with mounting evidence that these phenomena are becoming more widespread among adolescents around the world. As a result, the deliberate inadvertent reading of pornographic items on the internet has increased, although empirical research on the impact of internet pornography on the lives of the teeming adolescents and children is scarce. Some sectors are concerned about the potential detrimental effects of offensive and unfiltered internet content on the psychosocial well-being of various users groups, particularly children and teenagers. So, our last topic for today is discuss the proper way of demonstrating our values and attitude. So, firstly, you will need to be aware of your own personal values, beliefs, and attitude and how they might impact on your work. This means that it is important that you allow clients to make decisions based on their own values and beliefs, rather than decisions that reflect what you think they should do. So, individuals have their own values, beliefs, and attitudes. These values guide the way we live our lives and the decisions we make, It even helps us within deciding what TV, movies, radio, the internet, and advertising on what is important in our lives. Attitude is simply a belief and describe what we think is the proper way of doing some things. It is important that we do not influence the client's decision based on our values. We should always work from the basis of supporting the client's value. When customers hear about a product, their first reaction is to go search it for online. This new online reality we live in is connected to the consumer and inspired companies like Google to promote the use of online behavior metrics such as natural search, page search, clicks, website visits, and social media activities. Values help to guide our behavior. Attitudes are a response that is a result of our values. Values decide what we think is for right or wrong, good or unjust. Attitudes are attitudes are our likes and dislikes of things, people, and objects. So that is it for today's video, guys, and I hope you learned something from my report, and thank you for watching. God bless always, and wear mask every day. Goodbye. Thank you for watching.